Good day, everyone. This is Mark Vello, and you're listening to Headline News. Eric Trump. Trump had solved the border problem, but the current administration created another crisis. Eric Trump, the second son of former U.S. President Donald Trump, said on Sunday, March 20, that illegal immigration was not a problem during his father's presidency because he was working directly on the issue. The current border crisis is the result of the current administration. Eric told Fox News on Sunday and said, "My father had fixed this problem. Illegal immigration was not a problem anymore. That's the most humane form of immigration, where you don't have people making this dangerous trek. And it literally shows you what bad policy can do to the country, that in 90 days, in less than 90 days, a system that was working and was perfect and that was fixed turned to absolute junk." According to the report of the Epoch Times, Biden and other senior White House officials have repeatedly blamed the Trump administration's policies for the crisis at the border, arguing that the current administration is trying to develop a more humanitarian approach. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said earlier this month that he would continue to push immigration laws through Congress. Republicans, including former President Donald Trump, said it was Biden's actions, particularly a series of executive orders by Biden in the first few days, that reversed several Trump-era immigration policies. This caused the surge. Public data from the Border Patrol shows that at least 100,000 people tried to cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally in February, including about 10,000 children, unaccompanied by their parents. The data show that about 60% of families who crossed the border illegally were not sent back to Mexico. Trump himself, meanwhile, has weighed in on the issue recently. He told Fox News on Saturday, March 27th, that he would consider going to the border himself. "I'd love not to be involved. Somebody else is supposed to be doing it." On Sunday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki declined to provide a specific date for when the media would have access to the Border Patrol facility, temporarily holding thousands of people, but said that the Biden administration is committed to transparency, and we're working to get that done as soon as we can. Reopening the economy in 2 weeks. People infected at a record low in Texas. On March 10th, Texas fully reopened its economy and lifted its mask order. Currently, the number of people infected with the CCP virus, COVID-19, is at a record low, and the economy is recovering rapidly. Saturday, March 27th, marked the 17th day that the Texas economy was fully opened, and statistics found that the state's outbreak indicators continued to hit new lows. From March 20th to March 27th, the state's confirmed rate of people infected with the CCP virus fell to a new low, 5.2%, and the hospitalization rate hit its lowest since last October, falling 3,308. Meanwhile, vaccination rates in Texas are climbing rapidly, and by Monday, March 29th, all adults in the state will have had the opportunity to be vaccinated. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, in releasing the state's latest epidemic data, spoke that we must now do more to restore livelihoods and normalcy to Texans by opening Texas 100%, remarking that the Texas economy is rebounding rapidly. Following the Texas order, Mississippi stated it would follow Texas to fully reopen the state and end the mask mandate. In addition, the Republican-led red states of Florida, South Dakota, North Dakota, Alaska, Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Tennessee would also have no mask orders in place. And a survey of the U.S. medical community found that while Florida has not been taking closure measures, the outbreak data in Florida shows no sign of getting out of hand compared to the tightly closed states of New York and California. Democrats, including President Joe Biden, reacted negatively to the actions of states like Texas to open up their economy. Biden argued that the state's move to lift restrictions on the epidemic is Neanderthal thinking. He said, "The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking." Republicans then condemned Biden's comments, such as Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, who said, "When the epidemic numbers go down, people can evaluate their options and listen to the advice of experts. We should trust Americans, not insult them." U.S. official flattered to be target of CCP sanctions and won't stop speaking out. Gail Manchin is the chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF, and wife of Senator Joe Manchin. On Saturday, March 27th, she issued a statement expressing her firm resolution to uphold human rights in China even after being sanctioned by the CCP. In the statement, she said, "I feel flattered to be recognized by Communist China for calling out genocidal crimes against religious and ethnic minorities in the country. While I don't have plans to travel to China this summer, I won't stop speaking out when egregious violations of religious freedom are taking place as they are in China." On Saturday, the CCP issued sanctions against a number of U.S. and Canadian officials, including Gail Manchin, USCIRF Vice President Troy Perkins, and Canadian MP Michael Chong, in retaliation for sanctions imposed last week by the U.S., EU, UK, and Canada on Beijing officials involved in human rights issues in Xinjiang. On the same day, Secretary of State Antony Blinken issued a press statement and condemned the baseless sanctions imposed by the CCP in retaliation of sanctions on PRC officials connected with serious human rights abuse in Xinjiang. Beijing's attempts to intimidate and silence those who defend human rights and fundamental freedoms only exacerbate international scrutiny of the ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang. We stand in solidarity with Canada, the UK, the EU, and other partners and allies around the world in calling on the PRC to end the human rights violations and abuses against predominantly Muslim Uyghurs and members of other ethnic and religious minority groups in Xinjiang, and to release those arbitrarily detained. In an interview on Sunday, March 28, Blinken told CNN that he sees the U.S.-China relationship as increasingly adversarial. He said, "There are clearly increasingly adversarial aspects to the relationship. There are certainly competitive ones." Michael Chong, the Canadian lawmaker who also got sanctioned, tweeted over the weekend that the CCP sanctions would be his badge of honor. He urged, "We who live freely in democracy under the rule of law must speak for the voiceless." The United Nations believes that the CCP is detaining more than 1 million Uyghurs in detention camps in Xinjiang. These Uyghurs went through forced labor, and the Uyghur women were forcibly sterilized. The CCP denies the abuses involved and claims the camps are used to put people in Xinjiang through vocational training to support economic development and combat Islamic radicalism. This concludes today's broadcast. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for the next headline news.